I'd like to kick off and say that I'm talking to Brian from the Fox reality TV show The Snake. How are you doing today?
I am excellent, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining me today. Let's talk a little bit about your background. Obviously, you have a little bit more of an interesting background than obviously everybody else on the show, but tell us a little bit about Brian the person.
Oh boy. Brian the person. Um, I am probably one of the funniest people you would ever want to meet. I love to make people laugh, and it has been a way for me. Like I was always in trouble as a kid, and I realized quickly that if I could make people laugh, I could break tension. So that's probably the first thing, robbing jewelry stores and going to prison was pretty traumatic. So that definitely molded part of who I was. But it has always been up to me to do something with it, to turn it into something. And the snake is an example. I don't know that they would have just picked any ex-con if I wasn't if I didn't show signs of redemption.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the more fascinating things about you on the show, right? Because it shows, obviously it's like, oh, Brian, the ex-con, and we see that element of it, but I do think that there is a subtleness of seeing that element of the human being, that there is that redemption in someone, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, for me, I've always been able to win people over. I love shocking them. One of the things I love to do with the story is just sort of drop it into social situations. I got to do it the other day, just walk up to people and say, yeah, I robbed 22 jewelry stores with my family. And just to see people's looks on their face. But then it's immediately from there, this is who I am now. So it's definitely an interesting tale.
Yeah, talk to me about how you got cast on the show.
I was recruited. I frequently get calls, this year especially from people that, hey, we have this show coming up and we're thinking of doing, having an ex-con on there, or I was on America's Most Wanted in one of their episodes, season 2, episode 3. I've done a bunch of podcasts. People are after the story. True crime came big during COVID, so I was psyched to be recruited. I was proud. Like this is something positive that can come out of my past. So I was psyched.
Yeah, it's something a little bit different, right? There's strategy, there's a game to it. There's a not just focused on that certain element of your journey. Talk to me about what your strategy was heading into the game.
God, I wish I could tell you I had one. I wish I could tell you I sat down and planned this whole thing out. No, I was unbelievably panicked my first night laying in that house because I was like, okay, now that we know what this is, because we didn't know what it was at all. They just said, hey, there's a reality show and you're going to be on it. And from there, they kept things pretty tight-lipped. So I was laying in bed one night, that first night, and I said, what is my strategy? And I just said, you know what? I'm just going to win everybody in the house over. I'm just going to make sure everybody likes me. Everybody knows who I am. Everybody knows I'm not the underhanded ex-con everybody's worried about. Because it made me a little worried that first night, thinking that I had a target on my back because I was the ex-con, and everybody sort of thought I would have a level up, and nothing could be further from the truth. So I think I had a strategy that day, first day, and I started to become a little bit more confident, started to understand the game a little bit more, and I started to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting element, especially like when you first come out of the box and you're like, all right, everybody's looking around, you're getting a vibe for just appearance all, right? You know what I mean? Just appearance at all. And then of course Mina is tasked with the gotta pick six people. What was your thoughts kind of once the box drops, once she picks the people, you're not amongst that crew. What do you think? What are you thinking in that moment?
Oh, when I came out of the box and I turned to my right and I saw a cop, I was like, oh my God, they're doing this to me. And then I look across and I see Derek with a badge on, and I was like, oh, you people. I felt like I was in kindergarten and I didn't get picked for a team. Once Mina picked everybody, I was like, oh my God, that makes me so sad. And I was really nervous until I hit that first challenge. And once we hit that first challenge, I said, okay, there's a snake in this box. I'm not afraid of snakes. I'll touch a snake all day. So I think I got this. And then I get completely thrown for a loop by Catherine, who, offers me that's when I knew I was screwed, because I was sort of thinking that everybody would be devious. And then somebody tries to get my trust by offering me the medallion. it really threw me off my game.
Yeah, talk to me about forming that bond early on with Catherine. It seemed like you kind of hit it off. Whether how it plays out is one thing, but the early on bond between you and the conversations that you guys have.
When we were walking back from that first challenge to confront the dinner people, I whispered to her and I said, "I know you're full of crap." And she said, "I instantly liked you when you came out of the box." So from there, and we got up every morning and made everybody breakfast. So we were instantly like the mom and dad of the house. She's a little younger to be a mom, but there's just something parental about her deep down. And now to watch the show, I'm completely blown away by how absolutely evil she is. That girl's 100% evil. I don't think she has a good bone in her body, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I wish I had her Robin jewelry stores because I would have been able to do 44 instead of 22.
I mean, it's crazy to me because it's I'm sure it's fun watching it back because you're seeing a different element of everybody, right? You're seeing everything at 1,000 foot level that everybody else is, and her gameplay. I mean, I've seen a lot of hate, but I'm like, you can't hate the strategy, you can't hate the boldness, you can't hate the matter of fact of the game. But talk to me about the competition this week, right? The cockroaches, right? You are with Frank in this competition, and obviously Frank quit rather quickly.
Oh my God. I was so excited because after the drink one, I went into the drink one fully expecting to say no. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I remember telling my fiance, "Oh my God, they're gonna make me eat a bug," and she's like, "You eat that bug? That's 100 grand bug." So I walked into that challenge and I said, "This is the first thing I'm actually gonna tell everyone. No, I'm not doing it." And then I walked up to it and I got through that first one, and I was like, "Okay, I think I can do this, man. I think I can be the snake." I didn't want it at first. I didn't want to have to, take somebody out. So as soon me and Frankie were standing there right in front of that box, knowing what we were about to face, and I could feel his anxiety. And I said, "Frank, let's just have a safe word. You just say Wolf Mother, and we're out of that box." Because he was about to have a panic attack.
Yeah, you could definitely tell. Let's talk about the elimination, right? You hear Catherine say Jordan, what's going through your head? And did you kind of feel like that was the trigger you were going home?
There were two things. I fully expected to get the pastor on my side. I had been a friend to him the entire time in that house. We had multiple conversations. I even sat him down once and said, "Why does everyone in this house hate you? I don't get it." Everybody was gunning for him, and I wanted to understand it more than anything else. And I kind of needed somebody from the dinner crew. We were split into dinner crew and what we called the trauma crew. So everyone in the trauma crew, we were systematically taking out dinner crew people. So I said, I bet these people are going to fight back, and I at least don't want them to target me. So I spent the day trying to get the pastor to save me, and kind of lost sight of, keeping up with Catherine and what was going on that side. So in hindsight, I probably would have done a little bit more work, with the trauma crew and trying to get them to save me. But it was disappointing.
What's it been like watching it back? You know what I mean? And we talked a little bit about it, but how's it been like watching each episode back?
It's awesome, but I'm just sitting here the whole time. What did he? Is he going to say something about me? Like, I'm just waiting for somebody to say something so I can just give him a call and be like, "You bastard." No, it's really interesting. It's tough to see yourself. When the sun was behind me in that first episode, I looked like my grandfather. I was like, "Oh my God, do I really look like that?" But other than that, it's been fun. It's been really fun.
All right, so the big question I'm going to ask you obviously is who do you think is going to win the snake?
God, I have no idea. And that's what I love about the show is it's impossible to tell who is going to rise to the top of this because there's two elements. There's, weathering what's going on in the house, and then there's weathering these challenges. And the challenges only save you for a week. They don't, they, and there's, I have no idea. I honestly don't have any idea.